We are learning. We are paying attention. Well, I got to be honest with you guys. How many of you guys are natural skeptics? Be honest. Wow, there's a lot. Oh, God, we're in Texas. Natural skeptics. How many of you guys, prior to getting involved in Visalis, or maybe the first time down here, when you first heard, right, all those things we just talked about, when you first kind of heard about the mission, half of you was like, this sounds exciting, but the other half of you was kind of like, what's the catch? Be honest. I'd be in that boat, because if I was sitting in these seats here today and I'm sitting here connecting the dots, putting all this message together, you know, and stepping back to really look at what it is that we do, all I've heard so far all day is we go out there and we help people get healthy, right? Isn't that what the challenge is about? We help people lose weight, we help people get fit, we help people make their health a priority. Is that what you guys have heard here today? Okay, I want you guys to step back for a minute. Look at the bird's eye view. Think of everybody out there, everybody you know, everybody in your neighborhood, everybody in America, everybody in North America, and ask yourself this. If you were to ask everybody and they were to answer you honestly, if they had something about their health that they could improve over 90 days, how many of them would probably say yes? Think about this. Wouldn't just about everybody have to admit that there's something they could do to improve their health, yes or no? Okay, so you're telling me that pretty much, who should be open for the challenge, guys? Who? Who? Everyone. And the other half of today, Mike Craig did a great job breaking down the career path there, the whole marketing program. The other half that I'm hearing about is we help people make money promoting the challenge. Have you guys heard that so far this morning? Okay, and I don't have to point out the obvious of whatever's going on in our world over like the last week. But I'm willing to bet if you go to those same people and you were to ask them a literal question and they were to answer you honestly, do you really need something where you could have an extra couple $1,000 coming into the household? If you had that, would it make your life a little less stressful? If you went and asked that question to all those people that you're thinking about and they were to answer honestly, how many of them would probably be looking for some sort of opportunity? How many of them? Wait a minute. So you just told me that virtually everyone has a need to take the challenge and improve their health. And virtually who? Everyone, especially in this market in today's age, would benefit from additional income coming into their household. If we're sitting in a room and I'm in the back for the very first time, I'm like, wait a minute, if everyone is our market, why isn't everybody on stage holding 7-figure bonus checks? Why isn't everyone in the room driving a black BMW? Now, don't get me wrong. How many of you guys already have black BMW? Who's RD and above in the room? Okay, don't get me wrong. Like, that's a lot, okay? But if I were the skeptic, I'd still be sitting here saying, well, why isn't everyone if everyone really has a need for what we have? You guys, this next section I'm going to get into is where I tell you what the catch is. Is that okay with everybody? It's where I tell you what the catch is. Because, see, the catch is not going out there and finding people that have a need for what we have. The catch isn't going out there and finding people that want to get healthy. It's not finding people that want to make more money. The catch is becoming the person that those people will actually listen to. Everybody go, aha. You guys see, that's the catch. That's the process. Everything you'll learn, everything we do, everything that makes up the very fabric of the Visalis vehicle is very simple. Would you guys agree with me? The hard part is the process that we have to go through to build that belief, to become that person, to reach that potential. Now, everyone in this room, we all have our own stories. For those of you, most of you guys, I'm looking around and I see a lot of new faces. I'll share with you my quick story, okay? Most people, when they meet myself, Nick, and Ryan, the obvious thing is we're relatively young, okay? You know, it's probably one of the biggest questions that I get. And people assume when they hear the growth of Visalis, right, and you guys know the growth, it's ridiculous. We're not one of the fastest growing companies in an industry. We're one of the fastest growing companies in America, period, in any industry. That's the rate that we're growing right now. And then they meet myself, Nick, and Ryan, the oldest of us, right, 34, and they're like, what? They assume we all came from some business background or business pedigree. How many of you guys in the room here today, prior to getting involved in promoting the challenge, already were entrepreneurial, self-employed business owners? How many of you guys, never in your life have you ever been a business your very first time? Raise your hand. Very first, step outside a lot of people. For those of you guys raising your hand, my story is actually more like yours. Matter of fact, none of us, myself, Nick, and Ryan, came from a business background. Mine was almost the exact opposite of what you would call an entrepreneurial upbringing. Okay, you guys? I grew up in, talk about Middletown, suburbia, ultra-conservative. My mom is a principal. My dad is a cop. That's not meant to be a joke. Talk about in the box. Ryan always jokes around with me. He goes, Blake, when you were like a bad kid, did your mom give you Fs and your dad give you tickets? Like, bad, okay? How many of you guys grew up in a household where grades were important? Wow, okay? You guys, I remember stressing out about grades when I was in 5th grade. Literally, I can remember still in my head, sitting in those little desks, right, in elementary school, stressing out about grades when I was in 5th grade. Because in my household, if you didn't get good grades in 5th grade and 6th grade, you weren't going to get into the honor roll classes in middle school, which means you weren't going to get into the advanced placement classes in high school, which means you couldn't graduate with an accelerated GPA, which means you weren't going to get into the university you were supposed to go to, which means that law school you're supposed to go to is pretty much out. Your life is ruined if you don't pass social studies after recess. Like, oh, you guys celebrated my pain, okay? I can still walk into my elementary school. I can still see my name on a plaque as the outstanding 6th grader. I can still walk into my high school and see my name on a plaque as a student body president. I went to a top 6 university out in Southern California. I graduated with degrees in political science, public law, and psychology. I did that in a total of 3 years with Latin honors. You guys say, wow. I say, why? I say, why? And I say that with a whole lot of intensity, guys, because I remember the first time I asked myself that question. I was 18 years old. Someone looked at me, they said, Blake, you have this overachiever mindset. Why are you doing all of this? And I remember when someone asked me that because it was a complete turning point in my personal life. Because the only answer that could come to my mind is, at that time, that's what I thought I was. Now, some of you guys in this room will relate to that story, those of you guys that grew up in a similar household. Some of you guys may not relate to that story, but I'm willing to bet that most of us, and I found this true, you guys, I speak to thousands of new people every single month at the rate we're growing right now, and I find that everywhere I go, there's still people running around every single day doing what they think they're supposed to do. Not doing what they want to do. Most people don't wake up every morning like Mike said. What was that? All right, I'm done sleeping. Most people don't wake up every morning energized, right? Excited, passionate about what they're doing. Most people run motions every single day. What month are we in? Are you kidding me? Like, are we halfway through the year already? Is it just me, or does every year go faster than the last? Why? Every year just gets faster and faster and faster. Tony Robbins has a quote. He says the average person has 60,000 thoughts a day. 90% of them are the same as yesterday. That'll hit the rest of you guys tomorrow morning. Brushing your teeth, thought that one yesterday. Same way to work, thought that one yesterday. Same rate, thought that one yesterday. Same people, thought that one yesterday. Same thing, thought that one yesterday. Break at the same time, thought that one yesterday. Lunch at the same time, thought that one yesterday. Same way home, thought that one yesterday. Sit home, make dinner, go to bed, rinse, lather, repeat the next day. Anybody relate? We get stuck in routines as people. I call it the script. We get stuck running a script. Days go by, months go by, years go by, and the longer we're stuck in that script, the more of our life tends to go by. Guys, I was very, very fortunate that I got shown a vehicle similar to Visalis 12 years ago when I was 18 years old in a room similar to this, where all of a sudden I realized that there was a life outside the script. My total life philosophy changed, and all of a sudden I kind of adapted the belief that the minute you stop doing what you think you're supposed to do, and you start doing what you really, really want to do, that's when the script ends and life really begins. So what we're going to talk about here today is living a life off the script. Is that okay with all of you guys? Now, some of you guys are looking at me, you're like, Blake, script? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Where's everybody from? Tell me the city on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Where are you from? Okay, so we're from all across, right, this region, all across California, all across North America. Let's see if we're all on the same page. Please fill in the blanks with me, guys. Well, hey, insert your name. You're 5 years old. It's time for you to start going to? Time for you to start going to what? Okay, at school, follow instructions, study hard, and get really good grades. That way, when you're 18, you can get accepted into the best At college, study hard and keep getting really good. That way when you graduate, you can get a good. Be honest, work hard. That job will take care of you the rest of your. We call that living the American. Wow. No way! You guys were taught the same script I was taught. Crazy! 14,000 hours you spent in a classroom, K through 12th grade. 14,000 hours. That doesn't account further education. 14,000 hours where our lives are controlled by acronyms, right? A's, B's, C's, D's. What happened to E's, right? F's. ACT, GPA, right? All this stuff. Everything that we did wrong was pointed out in the color. Ugh. Filling in bubbles using what number pencil? Why? Any of you guys like rebellious growing up? I'm going to use the number 3 just to see what happens. Is it true? No, but is it true? Wait. You all just said, from all of our different backgrounds, all of our different walks of lives, all of our different cities, all of our different states, we were all taught the exact same what? Script. But you're standing here now and you're saying, it has to be true. What? Okay, let's analyze this. Fact or fiction? Do grades really equal wealth? They don't? We're taught that. Wait, growing up, aren't we taught that the A students are going to be successful? The B students will get by, the C students, middle management, D students, right? Labor, mom didn't want you playing with the F students. Sorry for those of you guys that were the F students, just the way it is. Aren't we taught that? Is it true? Is it true that smart equals wealth? How many guys have ever met a super, highly intelligent, very well-educated, broke person? How many guys have ever met a really stupid, rich person? No pointing, back of the room. It's not true, but we spend the first third of our life being taught that. Is it true that if you go to school, get good grades, graduate with a great degree, you're going to have a secure job for the rest of your life? Now, you guys, now more than ever, that is complete false. You know how many studies are coming out? It's like a new magazine every single month. Right now, it would be a hard time to be someone graduating college today trying to go into our workforce. And now most people are going back to school to get more grades because they can't get the job, to lengthen the script, to elongate the process to end back in the same place that they're starting. Is it true that if you work hard, don't call in sick, extended hours, show the boss you really care, that you will be taken care of the rest of your life? Raise your hand if you still believe that. This week, guys, it's at a whole. My mom she sent me a text message 2 days ago. She's my mom. Hey, honey, make sure you check your stocks. Everything's down. But then she sent me a message. I have a meeting in September. They're not sure if our retirement's going to be there. My mom, an educator her entire life, teacher, counselor, principal for 30 plus years, has a meeting now in September, not sure if the money that they save for their retirement is going to be there. Hello? You guys, this is real. I'm not here exaggerating. This is what? Real. We're taught a script. How many guys have ever had a kid come home, or maybe you were this kid, they came home and they're like, Mom, why do I gotta go to school? Who's had that question, right? Who was that kid? Guys, we all went to different educational systems. We all went to different schools. We were all taught the exact same thing. Why do we go to school? Why do we go to school? Why do you send, parents in the room, raise your hand, parents in the room, raise your hand, parents in the room, why do you send your kids to school every day? And don't say because you'll get arrested if you don't. Mommy, daddy time. Yeah. Why? Why do you do it? You do it every day. Here you go, honey, right? Why? To get rid of them. Guys, really, Think about it. Literally, why do you do it? I find people all the time, we run motions and we never ask ourselves why. I was that kid that never stopped asking why. Why? Guys, okay, let me rephrase the question. Why do we have an educational system? We need some neuro up in here, people. Get some neuro flowing. Why do we have an educational system? To get educated? Yeah. What is it? What is it? You guys, not just the governments, but our nations. You guys, the reason we have an educational system, the reason every nation has an educational system, the reason that every civilization in the history of the world always creates a script or a system for their youth is to give them what they believe are the necessary keys to advance the society, to advance the civilization. Does this make sense to you guys? This has always been the case. Go back to every civilization in history. Back then it wasn't school. Back then it might have been we're training to be a warrior because those were the skills at that time they thought you needed to carry on that civilization. Here it's education. Does this make sense to you guys? And this isn't just me, this is you go read why the educational system is put together. It is put together and crafted to give our future generations the skills at the time we think they need to further our civilization. Does this make sense to everybody? It's the truth, okay? For those of you guys that are super interested, you know, it's put together by people. Again, I'm giving this training, guys, because I want you to think. I want you to what? I want you to be the person that asks yourself why. Ask yourself what? Why? A lot of people, they wake up every day, they go through the system, 14,000 hours, third of their life gone. They never ask themselves why. They send their kids out the door every single day. Here's your lunchbox, son, right? But they never ask themselves what? Why? Do you guys realize, think about this. Wasn't all that created by people? Yes or no? Yes. Were the people that created that any different than you or I? Just people. Because everything we do every single day, all the rules we follow, all the guidelines we follow, all the scripts that we follow, they were created just by people just like us. Does this make sense to you guys? In the school system, it's easy. It's an elected official. Every state has its own director of education. It's an elected position. Who elects elected positions in our country? Do you? Who influences elections in our country? Corporations, okay? Corporations are a big influence no matter what the election is. Would you guys agree with me on that one? Do corporations have an interest in what we are teaching our next generation in the educational system? What's their interest? Because they need what? Yeah, they need a workforce. So if you were the large corporation with all the power and you wanted to secure your longevity, wouldn't you want to make sure your interests were being taught to the future generations to secure your business? Yes or no? Wait, the government wouldn't allow that. The government wouldn't allow that. Hello? Does the government have an interest in more employees? More employees equals more what? Here's the point, guys. This is put together by people. It's put together by people. And I'm not here to say it's bad in any way. Guys, it's a system. It's a script. And you know what? It's been the best script on the planet for the last few hundred years. This script worked. You guys, we are one of the youngest countries on the globe, right? But we're a superpower. No matter what's going on, we're still a superpower. You guys, we have made advancements across all levels. Here, there's no doubt, this was a good script. This script worked. It got us where we are today. Is it working today? No. Shift happens. Here's the point. That script did work, but that script was written for a different age. It was written for the previous age, which was called the Industrial Age or the Industrial Revolution. You guys, if I say the Industrial Age, shout out the things that come to mind. Industrial Age, what are you thinking about? Factory, what else? Gasoline, what else? Cars, right? Specifically, what about the car process started the whole Industrial Revolution? The assembly line. Does this all make sense to you guys? Some of you guys are like, why is he giving me a history lesson? Because I need you to understand that the script that all of you are operating on every single day was gearing you up for what age? The Industrial Age. The Industrial Age. A factory age. An assembly line age. An age where all of a sudden, guys, the whole industrial revolution was based on the philosophy that we need people only being able to do a simple thing over and over and over and over again. Isn't that the process? Isn't that what created our entire automotive industry? Isn't that what got extended into every single industry? Isn't that what you still see when you walk into the Golden Arches? Right? Push the thing, autofill up, done, right? Fries, fries, salt, done, right? Every single day. You guys, the industrial age, what we needed to excel in that age were people that could do simple things, follow instructions over and over and over again. And this worked. Problem is, shift happens. We're no longer in that age. We're in the what? We're in the information age. I want you guys to watch this list here real quick. I'm not going to go through all of them. Here are things that define the industrial age. Pay attention to this and see if any of this makes sense to you for when you were growing up. Industrial age, uniformity, sameness, fitting in, stability, security. It was designed to help you please authority, avoid rejection, stay to the status quo, is all or nothing thinking. Respect authority, protect the existing hierarchy, avoid conflict. Very reactive, dependent on a single leader. Punishment for infractions, right? Greater rigidity, ability to fit in, follow orders, perform as directed, and the expectation that the tasks or assignments would not vary a lot from person to person. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Yes. You're acting out of line, go sit in the corner, wear the dunce hat. All the tasks that we were brought up, repetitive, over and over, please authority. We were taught you had to be perfect. Hello? A 50% in school and you get a what? F? You guys get 50% right in life, you're a multi-gajillionaire. But we're taught that 50% you're a failure. We're taught that you have to be like that person. We're taught you have to fit that mold. We're taught you have to be like that group. And if you're not, you're shunned, you're outcasted, you're reprimanded, and you're punished because that was a system designed to build the beliefs for the age that we were in. Different age. Here's what they're saying now. Information age, totally different skill set. To advance in today's world, diversity, flexibility. Mistakes are seen as necessary. You don't punish mistakes. They're necessary for growth. Ability to see various points of view, multitask, take initiative, communication, taking risks. Talk about the opposite of security, stability. In order to excel today, you have to take risks because everything is what? Changing. Proactive, preventative, empowerment, trust. Higher priority on networking, people skills, communication skills, outside-the-box thinking, problem-solving, initiative, flexibility, adaptability, ability to multitask, shift gears, change, and meet the demands of the workplace. Guys, here's the scary thing. These are not my lists. I took these lists out of a book called The Win-Win Classroom, which basically summarized the principles that our education system used to craft the current system and what they're currently trying to lobby to make the shift toward. Does this make sense to you guys? Why am I going through all of this? Because every one of us in the room were brought up in a system and programmed a script for an age that no longer exists. Does this make sense to all of you guys? Every one of us. Every one of us. Here's what's scary. Our kids are still going through the same thing. Now, for those of you guys that keep saying script, what's he talking about when it comes to script? Guys, what I'm talking about is the first third of your life when your brain is the most malleable, when most of your perceptions and your belief system is created. You were spent getting taught things for a time that is no more. I'm talking about your paradigm. I'm talking about your beliefs. Your what? Beliefs. Your beliefs. They were given to you from the time that you were this big by all the people all around you at a time that you didn't have any control whether you were to accept it or not. When I say belief, what do I mean by belief? What's a belief? Shout out what a belief is. What's a belief? Easy questions, guys. What's a belief? We all use it every single day. What's a belief? What is it? What you think is real. What else? What else? What's a belief? What you perceive, what else? Faith, what else? I think these are all great answers, okay? They're all right answers. I'll give you my personal definition. My personal definition of a belief is a feeling of absolute certainty. The key word in that is a what? Feeling. Is a belief absolute certainty, yes or no? Think about it. Is it absolute certainty, yes or no? At one point in our society, didn't the smartest people in the entire world believe the world was flat? Was it? For those of you guys that didn't realize that's not, okay? At one point, didn't they believe, I'm talking science, brilliant minds believed the earth was the center of the universe? Were these beliefs? Were these absolute certainty? Guys, a belief is a what? Feeling. Works like this. How many of you guys remember, how many of you guys actually remember going to a physical library? Okay? How many of you guys remember what that whole thing was called? The what? The Dewey Decimal System. Can you imagine? Do you guys realize that kids will never know what the Dewey, oh, I can Google that. Here's how your brain works. Your brain is the ultimate librarian. Every time you have a thought, it creates a card. Okay? It's a reference. A thought creates a reference. The reference is a card. Your brain writes that card out, and it actually will search the entire archive of your mind, and it'll look for cards that are similar to that new reference. Right now, you guys just had a thought. Boom, you had a thought. Create a card. Totally subconsciously, without even thinking about it, in a matter of split seconds, all of a sudden it went through every single thought you've ever had, and it stuck that card right next to similar thoughts. You guys just had another thought, created a card. Went through every single belief in your mind, and boom, we inserted that card right next to similar thoughts. Does this make sense to you guys? Just happened again. Just happened again. Every single reference you have creates a card. Library sorts the cards and sticks those cards next to similar beliefs. The more cards, the larger the file, the stronger the belief. That's it. The stronger the belief. Which becomes a problem when you spent the first third of your life building your mind full of a whole lot of beliefs for a time that no longer exists. Does this make sense to you guys? But every single day, this is how it works. You had another thought, you created a card, searched your mind, filed the card. Some of you guys are looking at me like, Blake, this is too metaphorical for me, right? Again, I'm the kid that never stopped asking what question? So when I started learning this stuff, I'm like, okay, well, I can understand that in concept. But does it really work that way? I'm going to go bio on you guys for 1 minute, okay? Here's literally how the science works. Science has proven at any point in time, reality exists in about 2 million bits of information. How many bits of information? 2 million. Right now, every single one of you have 2 million bits of information all around you. Now, here's the key. The brain is not conditioned. It's not sophisticated enough to process 2 million things at once. Okay? If it did, you'd be like on freak out mode. Your hair would be higher than mine. Your eyes would be bulging out. I'd be like, what is going on? Okay? Oversensitized. Your brain cannot process 2 million. Science, to the best of our ability, has basically told us that your brain can only absorb 134 bits of information at a time. Reality exists in what? How many? But we can only absorb how much? How much? Are all of you guys seeing the same thing right now? Are all of you guys seeing the same thing right now? All of you maybe have the opportunity to see the same thing right now, but are all of you seeing the same thing right now? There's 2 million bits of pieces in the room. Some of you guys didn't notice that balloon art, that is the craziest balloon thing I have ever seen, right? Some of you noticed, some of you didn't. Some of you didn't notice the carpet, some of you guys didn't notice the camera guys, some of you guys did, some of you guys didn't. It's crazy to me at these events. I'll talk with people after these events, and people come up to me and they'll say, you know, man, Blake, that was the most empowering day. My life has totally changed forever. I got it. I got the aha. They'll leave here and they say, oh my gosh, my life will never be the same. And the person right next to him would be, man, that was a waste of an afternoon. Sat in the same room, saw the same thing. Some of you guys still don't believe me. How many of you guys have ever bought a new car before, not a BMW? Shout out real quick the last new car you bought on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everybody's had the experience of getting a new car, okay? Now, I'm not psychic. I don't have my crystal ball up here, but I'm willing to bet the day you drove off the lot in that new car, what did you see everywhere? No. It happened to you? Okay, I'm here to be objective, guys. I'm just here to get you to think, so I'll give you options. Option A, that morning, the entire world held a conference call and conspired just to mess with you. And the minute you drove off that lot, we intentionally followed you everywhere in the same car. Option A. Or option B, all those cars were always there. You just hadn't built the references, the belief, to flip the filter in your mind to go out there and attract those bits as your 134. Option B. You guys see how this works? That's how it works. RAS, reticular activating system, it's the filter in your mind. All day long, right? That filter is distorting things, is minimizing things, is taking 2 million and cutting it down to what? 134. Now here's the ultimate life-changing question. Who determines what 134 bits you're picking up? Some of you do. Your mind is programmed to pick up the 134 bits that harmonize most with your existing beliefs. You guys, this is how it works. We are programmed to sift and sort and only bring in things that match our existing belief system. How many of you guys have ever woke up on the wrong side of the bed and everything went wrong that day? What color was every traffic light on the way in? Why? The beliefs we have create the files. The files we have shift our filter. The filter we have takes 2 million, cuts it down to 134, and that is the reality we live every single day. Now, if you understand that philosophy, you understand this, ladies and gentlemen, because this is where it goes one direction or the other. You can go out there and create a belief about anything. By the way, if any of you guys are personal growth readers, what I'm talking about has a lot of names. Ever hear of something called The Secret? Law of attraction, thinking rich, visualization, magnetism, affirmations, incantations, dream board, positive thinking. It is all the same thing. All I'm doing is I'm explaining exactly how this works. This is luck. You guys, I've been told my whole life. I can't tell you how many of my friends, how many people I know, they go, Blake, man, you're so lucky. And I can't tell you how or why, but I can tell you when I started learning this, it started to make sense. Because I grew up and my mom was a what? And my dad was a what? And if you guys know anybody in law enforcement, they have serious OCD issues, okay? At least my dad did. My dad was the person that if everything, his best friend was Murphy, right? If everything can go wrong, it what? Will. He's a guy like they would call, did you unplug the toaster? You know? Like bad. Here's the thing I saw growing up as a kid. He would sit there and project the worst possible things that I never in a million years would ever think of. And you want to know what the sad part is? Most of the time he was right. Most of the time he was right. He would literally sit there and worry and worry and worry and worry and worry until he brought it into existence. And I grew up from the, guys, small as I can remember, and I just remember one thing. I said, you know what? I am never going to live my life that way. And I don't know if that's why. I don't know why things have just happened to work because I chose to focus on things that would work. But I'm telling you guys, it's a powerful thing. If you're understanding what I'm saying, you can use it one way or another. It's for better or for worse. Because if you have enough references, you can create a belief about anything. A belief about what? Anything. For better or for worse. How many of you guys have ever met a compulsive liar? No, I mean like a real compulsive. I mean like when they lie, they are so good that you almost believe that they believe that what they're saying is true. Who knows people like that? Here's the scary thing. They do. They have told themselves over and over and over, file, card, build the belief, flip the filter. Now they almost believe that what they're saying is what? Bodie Miller just joined the challenge. I don't know if you guys have any skiing fans in the room. Bodie Miller is probably one of the noted as the best downhill skiers of all time, okay? I had a chance to go, we've been friends with Bodie for a long time, had a chance to go watch him at the Birds of Prey World Cup one time. Watching those guys before they take off down the mountain going, whatever they go, it's like ridiculous. But it's interesting, they watch them on the top. They close their eyes before the run. And what are they doing? Visualizing. Praying. Probably a little bit of both. Visualizing. Programming in their mind every move and every course, building the references, building the belief. See, here's the cool thing about the mind, guys. The mind doesn't know if the references you're creating are actually reality or not. And the cool thing is it doesn't matter. A thought is a thing. The thought can be real, the thought can be imagined, but a thought is a thing. It creates a card. That's why visualization works. That's why you hear Michael Jordan say, I took every shot on the court 2 times, once in my mind and once on the court. You guys go find the top level of virtually anything. You'll find that they use these principles. They're able to program their belief system in their head, to go out there to build the beliefs, to flip the filter, to create that. Does this make sense to all of you guys? So for better or for worse. You guys, I explain this and I go through the anatomy of this because I want to get you to think. I want you to understand that what you are attracting every single day, you have control over. What you think about comes about, right? Think and grow rich, right? Who you are is who you attract. All this stuff that you've heard and read in the books, guess what? It's right. Here's how you can use this to move yourself forward. How many of you guys have a goal? How many of you guys are in Visalis promoting the challenge because you have a definitive goal? How many of you, I ask you right now, what your end game, your end picture, what you really want? How many of you guys could clearly articulate that to me by a show of hands? You guys, it's important because none of this you can use if you don't know what that is to start. People always drive behind me in my BMW and they go, Blake, what's Enderman? Because my license plate says E-N-D-N-M-N-D. Stephen Covey fans in the room, that stands for end in mind. Start from the end and think backwards. So if I were to ask you guys what your life looks like 5 years from today, 10 years from today, 20 years from today, I know some of you guys don't know what you're doing this afternoon yet. But I want you guys to think about what that is. And if you haven't spent time on this, guess what? You're never going to get there. If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. Can I get all of you guys to commit to spending time to really identifying your reason why you're in your mind? Can you do this? Okay, now watch how this works. Once you know what that is, you guys, I'm about to simplify every single one of your daily actions right here if you understand this process. Once you know where you're going, decisions in life become so simple. How many of you guys have ever been confused, stressed out? You were in a moment of decision, you weren't sure what to decide by a show of hands. How many of you guys have ever been in that? You're like, do I go left? Do I go right? What happens here? What happens there? You guys, as a country, we have lost the ability to make decisions. I'm about to simplify your life right here. Focus on what you want. What's your end? Then every single moment of decision, you're going to have one of two beliefs. The belief is either going to be empowering, which means it's going to move you toward what you want, or it's going to be disempowering, which means it's going to move you what? Away. You guys, that's it. If you know where you're going, every single decision, one is going to move you closer. We call that what? Empowering. And one is going to move you further. We call that what? Disempowering. So I need you guys to understand this, because as you're going out there and you're promoting the challenge, you know why you're doing this. You're going to have stuff that comes in your way. You're going to get asked, and you're going to get challenged, and you're going to have to decide. You got to sit there in the fork in the road, and you're going to say, if I make this decision, it moves me that way. If I make this decision, it moves me that way. Choose the empowering decision. I'm going to give you guys an example. This is the entire process that we go through. This is what I opened up talking about. The process of development boils down to this slide right here. As people, we have to get good at breaking down our disempowering beliefs. You guys, we spent the first third of our life getting inputted with stuff for a time that doesn't exist. How many of you guys are willing to admit that some of that stuff is still up here in your head? That's a lot of cards, teachers, parents, people, media, all the time, a lot of cards. It's still in your filter. It's still dictating decisions every single day. We got to work on breaking down the disempowering beliefs. My hope is understanding this process allows you to acknowledge that and realize, you know what, that thought, the only reason I have that thought is because some teacher told me I wasn't good when I was 5. The only reason I think I have to be perfect is I spent my entire life being told I had to be A's. The only reason I think I'm not worth it, I think I can't be a millionaire, I think I can't, get rich, because I was told all my life that money is the root of all evil, and I was told all my life that I wasn't one of those people, and I was told all my life that I didn't have those skills. Does this sound familiar to any of you guys in the room? It's in your head. I'm going to ask you to get personal real quick. You guys have pens and papers in front of you. What are the top disempowering beliefs right now that are keeping you from getting what you want? And don't lie to yourself and say you don't have them, because if you didn't have them, you'd already have what you want. When you go out there and you leave here today and they give you an action plan and they say, here is step 1, 2, 3 to go get a Beamer, there's going to be an instant mind in your head. We call it the yak yak. It starts yakking all the time. And it's going to tell you something. What are the things right now in your head that are preventing you from getting what you want? Anybody willing to shout them out? When you go to take action, what prevents you? When you go to pick up the phone call, what makes you put it back down? When you know you want to go to that event, what stops you? Guys, shout it out. Fear of what? Fear of rejection. Get more specific. I'm afraid that person's going to say no. Is that really it? Because I was taught all my life that I had to fit in, fit the status quo, and no was bad, and all those cards were put in there by the time that I was 5, and it's still there controlling my filter. Shift it. Identify it, realize it was put there with things out of your control, get over it, and shift it. Does it matter if I get 97 no's? If I find the 3 that take me to 3-star ambassador and make $40,000 a month, make the call. Shift the belief. Give me another one. Shout them out. Here's what I know. Whatever you guys say, everybody else has the same thing. So, belief, failure. Guys, I'm talking literally. Half of you haven't even had your first challenge party because of these things. So why? I'm shy. Is it worth me overcoming my shyness if I know I can impact one person's life and help them live a little longer for their kids, like the testimonies I saw in the room? Is it worth me overcoming my shyness to make an impact on other people? Yes or no? Make the call. What else? Lack of time? All these things I spent in my day, are these going to move me closer to what I want? Isn't it worth my time to carve out an hour to achieve the lifestyle I know I deserve? Reshift my schedule. Make the call. Procrastination. Okay? Procrastination, it's almost the same thing. It's level of priority. All these things that I'm doing every single in my life, are those going to move me toward what I want? Are those going to make an impact? Are those going to lead me and my family to the lifestyle that I know I deserve? I am worth going out there and making this business a priority. Make the call. Don't know enough details. Okay? I don't know enough information. I don't know the whole comp plan. I don't know everything that's in the products. How many of you guys have had that one in your head? Do I know more than the person that I'm calling? Yes, I do. Make the call. Right? Do you have to be an expert in every conversation? Who knows more? I hope you guys do, because they don't know anything, okay? Make the call. Guys, identify it, shift the belief. One belief moves you forward. One belief moves you backward. What else? I'm too busy. Me being this busy has got me to where I am. I better do something to get where I want to go, right? Make the call. What else? Lack of contacts. Okay? If I have to go out there and make new friends every single day to make an impact on people, is it worth me meeting 3 people a day if it means I'm going to live the lifestyle I want? Yes, make the call. Do you guys see the gist here? In any single moment you have, All you have to do is identify it and go, you know what? That right there, that's a disempowering belief. Now you can accept it and be like, okay, I'm going to take a step back. There goes my goal. I'm going to take a step back. There goes my goal. And that's cool. It's your prerogative. Or you can sit there and realize, you know what? That's just a belief. All that is a file of cards in my head, and it's only there because of all these people that stuck it there when I was 5. And you know what? I can shift that anytime I want by sitting here. Who has control of your mind, guys? Come on, ladies, right? You have control. All you got to do is stop, reframe, shift, and move forward. I know you guys, we have a lot of garbage. Some of us in the room, we have more garbage than others. Fact of life, okay? Fact of life. Look to the person next to you. Say, I got a lot of garbage. Now tell them, get over it! Look to the other person next to you, say, I got a lot of garbage. Now tell them, get over it! Guys, get over it! Who cares? You were 5! Who cares? New world, new age, new beliefs. Does this make sense to you guys? You guys, I'm telling you, this is the philosophy. I remember, and don't think, the only reason I get passionate about this stuff, guys, is don't think we haven't all gone through this. Every leader you'll see across the stage goes through the process. Do you know how many times I'd sit there when creating this company, and Nick and I got the phone call that 5 years of our life got taken away in a matter of a single 5-minute call? You know how many times I sat there and questioned myself? And then adopted the belief, you know what, greater the challenge, greater the reward. The bigger the issue, the bigger the promise. You know how many times we'd sit there and almost gone out of business in this journey? Guys have probably almost gone out of business 4 times. As early as 2 years ago, you guys know the story where all of us had to put $1 million of our own capital back in just to keep the company going to launch the challenge. And I had to sit there and we had to tell ourselves, the only way we fail is if we quit. The only way we fail is if we quit. Do you guys see? It's all a mind game. It's all a mind game. Break down your disempowering beliefs. Do this. You guys, it's going to be a process. I just want you to understand and get yourself thinking, you're in a moment. That's what I want. Am I going forward or am I going backward? Choose going forward. Simultaneously, we build up empowering beliefs. This happens at the same time. The faster you can break down your disempowering and build up your what? Empowering, the faster this process goes. How many of you guys already here today have gotten a few new beliefs that you think will move you closer to where you're committed to being? By a show of hands, guys! That's why these events are so important. They build your belief. They build your belief. The success audios, the personal growth, the testimonies, the stories, the environment, the people. Guys, it's like, have you guys ever put a dirty glass underneath running water? It's kind of how it works. You're sticking a dirty glass underneath running water. First, it stays a little dirty, then it gets cleaner, then it gets cleaner, then it gets cleaner, again, it's cleaner. Pretty soon the water's clear. Does this make sense to you guys? Some of you guys have really dirty glasses. Which means you need to put in more what? Water. Neuro. You guys, last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. It's time for reinvention. People keep asking me, they go, how in the world did ViSalus go from where you were to where it is today? How'd you go from a brink of failure to you guys are right now the front runner to be the only company to reach $1 billion in revenue outside of the recession? How'd you go from the brink of failure to having one person joining your challenge every minute of every hour of every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? How'd you go from the brink of failure to where every second 3 people are drinking a ViSalus shake across North America in 24 months? How'd you go from the brink of failure to where every 2 hours someone's qualifying for a BMW? How'd you go from the brink of failure to the fastest growing health transformation challenge and home-based business in North America today? Guys, the word was reinvention. We were the first company to step back and reinvent ourselves from the inside out. My challenge to each and every one of you is it worked for us. It might work for what? You. Reinvent yourself. Take an inventory of the beliefs you have, throw out the disempowering, take out the garbage, rinse out the glass, put in the empowering beliefs, program yourself for what you want. And the last thing I'm going to leave you guys is what is possible. You guys cool if I give you a glimpse real quick? That was horrible. I'm done. See you guys later. You guys cool if I give you a glimpse real quick? Guys, here's what I believe is possible. Some of you guys will leave here today. You're going to get the action plan. You're going to get the rest of the day first with phenomenal information. You will leave here today with everything you need to go out there, put it into action. And for those of you guys that are not BMW qualified, I believe you can do that this month. How many of you guys have on your goal board a goal to hit your BMW this month by a show of hands? You guys, I believe that's possible. I believe you can do that by the end of this month. By the end of this what? Month. You're going to be picking out your BMW 1 week into September. You're like, oh, going to the lot, rolling out. All of a sudden, all the people that you're helping seeing, wow, if you can do it, guess what? They can do it. They're going to go out there and do the exact same thing. By the end of next month, you may have 2, 3 BMWs in your organization. You may find yourself by the end of next month as a national director, which means in October, we're all going to where? We're all going to where? In October. Oh, no, when they do the BMW thing, you plus all your crew are out there on stage holding the told you so plates, right? Sending those videos, doing that picture, doing that Mike Craig lawn drive thing you was talking about earlier. When they do the national director promotion, you're crossing the stage, your team is cheering. They see you on stage, they're in a room of 10,000 people, and they go, wait a minute, if you can do it, guess what? I can do it. So they leave that event with a complete new filter. All new references, right? 10-foot-tall, bulletproof, new belief system. They go out there, and through the end of the year, you help those 3 people each hit national director, which pushes your total volume, guys, by the end of this year, an ambassador. By the end of the year, you have the black jacket. Guys, how cool would it be to be going into 2012, day 1, and you already know that year through your Vice Sales business, you're going to make an extra 6 figures in your spare time on top of what you're doing because of what you did over the next 4 months. How many guys are interested in that vision? You guys, you can do it. You're awesome. Fill out the registrations. I look forward to seeing all of you guys in Atlanta. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you guys very much.
Music.